Ninibong, and welcome back to my channel where we talk about all things Transformers and Transformers action figure related. So today we're going to take a little trip down memory lane, I guess, and have a look at something I picked up from my brother the other week. So my brother had hold of some of my old Transformers collection, and he actually kindly gave me some of his Transformers collection for my channel. We both had this magazine from back in the day, so I wanted to show everybody, get your views on this, let them know what you think of the whole Generation 2. So we're going to look at this comic from back in the day. This is from 1993. This is the first edition of the Transformers Generation 2 comic. So let's kick this off by having a little bit of a background deep dive into it. So at the back we can see that this is the first place they made a mistake, right? I mean, they redesigned the Autobot logo and the Decepticon logo. Yeah. These are absolutely horrible. I don't know if this was Marvel's direction or if this was actually guys at Marvel that made this decision, but yeah, horrible. No, not very good. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Do you actually like these logos or not? For me, no, downer. Really don't like that. So that's the first thing that I really don't like about this cartoon. But it was written by Simon Furman, who actually is one of the most prolific writers of Transformers media. So if you've got all of the original Transformers Marvels from back in the day, and actually all the way up to some of the IDW stuff, he has been the writer on a lot of that stuff. And he writes a nice note in the back of this, just setting out what they plan to do with this comic, saying that he thought it was all over basically for Transformers. Then he got a phone call saying that not only is it coming back, but they're getting a lot more freedom to be able to do whatever they want to do. So they called up a lot of people who used to work on Transformers and all kinds of different franchises, and they put this comic together, and then they were able to start writing this with more freedom. We'll take a little look at the front cover. Now, front cover here, it says, "This is not your father's Autobot." And yeah, you know that's what the whole idea of the whole concept of this was, to make it as different to G1 as possible. And the front cover is beautiful. You know, this is it almost looks like Siege, right? It almost brings it right up to date. And you open this up and you have some beautiful artwork here. A nice battle scene setting up exactly what this is going to be like, really. A huge battle between the Autobots and the Decepticons. So in this version, you actually don't see many Decepticons. In the first edition, you only really see one proper Decepticon. In this one, the artwork, let's take a look at the artwork. Now, the artwork is nice, don't get me wrong, the artwork is great. Definitely a step up from the Marvel stuff, from the original UK Marvel stuff. But for me, it's almost like they copied the 2000 AD style of drawings. I mean, if you look at like ABC Warriors, Judge Dredd, this really reminds me of that style of artwork, the very squared off jaws and that. Maybe it was just the art style around in the early 90s, but that's what it's reminiscent of it for me. It's very reminiscent of the 2000 AD Judge Dredd, ABC Warriors, those kind of things. What I do like here is you can see Sideswipe in all of his glory, and you bring out the Siege Sideswipe and you can see how close he is, which is cool. This is actually my favorite version of Sideswipe. I've seen people do custom jobs and give him this as well, and it's cool. It's pretty cool, and they've done a really good job with that. But the artwork as we go through is really nice. Definitely better quality than we got in the early Marvel stuff. And you know, if you pick this up off the shelf and just look at it, apart from those dodgy looking badges, even today I think it's still quite a nice looking comic book. Let's touch on story now. So story is interesting. They have definitely tried to make this not your father's Autobot, so they've tried to make it a little different. So we open up with the Autobots, as you've just seen, kind of looming down and attacking this planet. One of them kind of gets a little bit too carried away and looks like they love doing this a little bit too much as they go through it. So you see some disputes in there between the Autobots. Can anybody let me know as well who this is? I would love this figure. This is absolutely killer. I don't know if this is available anywhere, this figure, but it looks awesome. Anyway, back to the story. And you see Grimlock smashing stuff up, and what we learn as we go through is this is almost like the Autobot Wreckers, and that they are going in and they're attacking things that they think are Decepticons, but we find out later on that there is no, it's past the Autobot and Decepticon war. Millions of years after that now. You can see here, so we've gone past the Unicron, Bludgeon, we've gone past Scorponok, Shockwave and Galvatron, and now they've kind of evolved into one race, and that one race has still decided to take over the entire universe and spread out from Cybertron. Of course, Prime still doesn't like this, but it does make him question kind of what side he's on, and also you can see that some of his Autobots now are starting to like the fight a little bit too much, and it does kind of blur the lines between good and evil. The Autobots aren't all good, and the Decepticons, certainly as we go through it, don't seem to be all bad. You do get your first look at Megatron as we go through this comic as well, and also this comic links into G.I. Joe. So there's Megatron, your first little look at him, and here's the guys from G.I. Joe, they're also in this. So going forward, it did link the two franchises together. So it was an interesting Prime is left questioning where his place in the world and the Autobots' place in the world at the end of the comic. It's an interesting take on Transformers, one that I don't think actually went down too well in the end with fans. It's not remembered very fondly, but I think it's quite interesting. I might pick up a few more of these and have a look at them on the channel. Let me know your thoughts, guys, whether or not you like this. But something I do want to do before we go is just take a look at some of the classic adverts that we have. This really reminds me of my childhood, very 90s. This is from 1993. Excellent. I didn't have a Game Genie or a Game Gear, actually. I had a Mega Drive. My brother's still got my Mega Drive, actually. I had a Mega Drive from back in the day. My first computer system was an Atari ST before I got a Mega Drive, so I loved my Atari ST, and that actually brings us on to one of the another links into another advert that we'll see as we go through. So this is Lifesavers. This is a very American advert, so for all you guys watching over in the US, you may remember a little bit more about this advert than myself, but I definitely remember Sonic Spinball as a game. Loved that concept and that idea as a kid. Then we move on to Rocket Knight Adventures. Really cool looking advert that we have for Rocket Knight Adventures there. The next advert that we have in this is Soldiers of Fortune. This brings me back to my Atari ST. In the UK, this wasn't called Soldiers of Fortune, this was called Chaos Engine, and this is actually designed and created by one of my favourite game designers of all time, and that's the Bitmap Brothers. And they designed Speedball 2, they designed Zenon 2, Zenon, they designed all kinds of things that I really like. I love their art style. Magic Pockets they did from back in the day as well. And Gods you can pick up on the Switch right now. Awesome games. I really wish that they'd do like a Bitmap Brothers collection for the Switch. I would love that. Speedball 2, even to this day, is one of my favourite games of all time. We then get a pretty cool advert for Dracula, the computer game, which, as we all know, was pretty toss from what I can remember. It wasn't that great a game at all, but movie tie-in games seldom are, I guess. And then we get the nice X-Men Street Fighter. What version of this? Street Fighter 2 Turbo, so more nice hot deals. And then on the back we get these, I think it's for cards. Yes, these are like cards that you were able to buy. It's like an advert for I guess almost like baseball cards. and they're hard to find, so that these all had really nice artwork on them done by the Marvel artists. So I hope you liked this little trip down memory lane and look at the G2 comic book. Let me know your thoughts, guys. I know this isn't well remembered by fans, and you know, it has a little bit of a stain on its character, I guess, but let me know. I quite enjoyed this comic book, I'm not gonna lie. I'll have to see what happens on whether or not I pick up any more, and let me know what you think. Do you like the G2 continuity? Is it something that you guys wish they'd do a little bit more of? Is it something that you guys collect as well, the G2 figures and the G2 comics? And I shall see you in my next video, and if you like what I'm doing around here, give us a like, a share, and a subscribe. Alright guys, in a bit, peace!